And with tomorrow's CPI now looming large, we get you set up for that with some fresh moves from the investment committee. Joining me for the hour today, Jenny Harrington, Steve Weiss, Joe Terranova. Everybody's at the table. Happy to see everybody here. Let's go to the wall, see what we're doing. 12 noon in the East. We've got green across the board, as you see. Dow's good for 285, we'll call it. S&P near 1%. NASDAQ outperforming today. Yields at 372. That is on the 10-year. But, Joe, we're waiting for the CPI. J.P. Morgan games it out, as they always do, and we like to bring our viewers that information, sort of what they're talking about, what the likely outcomes are, and what the result will be. In the stock market, 65% chance, they say, it goes between 6 and 6.3%. Okay? Remember, it was 6.5 last time.
Okay.
That's bullish, they suggest. You get a 1.5 to 2% pop, but you see the rally faded. My point is, like, you got a bunch of potential outcomes, and we're hanging on this next big hurdle for this rally.
It's interesting because I actually see the pressure being on bears, not so much the bulls. I think bulls are in control here. I've said this all along. I think you've got a little bit of a runway through the spring where the market can rally, and then the lag effect of what monetary policy takes effect. But inflation and the report that we're going to get tomorrow, we know there's going to be several distortions. The weightings have changed for how it's going to be calculated. So owner's equivalent rent now has a higher weighting. That's up to 25%. The shelter component is going to be a little bit hotter than expected. In addition, used car prices, which in January were up 2.5%. That's the first increase that we've seen since June. The used car pricing is actually going to have a lower weighting. So there's going to be some distortions in the report. Understand that. I think the good side of the economy is going to look better. I think the services side of the economy is going to look more difficult. And I think the road for inflation is going to be bumpy. But unless you see a very hot number, when I say a hot number, I mean month on month up 0.6, core up 5 to up 0.6. Last month we were up 6.5 year on year overall. I think you need to see up 6.5 year on year overall, because if you fall in that 6.2, 6.3 area, market's going up.
So, Weiss, the bulls are in control. Okay, that's what Joe just said. You agree with that?
For now, you do. Come on, you do.
Actually, I don't agree with the characterization. I don't know that anybody's in control right now.
Only you could come up with that. Only you would put yourself into a pretzel twist to come up with that answer.
No, the
stocks have been rallying, right? It's been hard to push the market down, right?
Yep.
The bulls feel like they have some newfound momentum. Wouldn't you agree with that?
No, I definitely see this momentum. I continue to see cherry picking of good news in a sea of what could be bad news. So, look, if you were counting on this being a deep recession at this point, then clearly you're wrong. I don't know that anybody was, but that was a headline dialogue because it was sensational. Similarly, I think it's completely asinine to think the Fed's going to pivot and all of a sudden start cutting rates at any point this year. They're not going to make that mistake. So where are we? We're still in the case, as Joe alluded to the lag effect of monetary policy, which I believe will hit mostly at the end of this year. Mm-hmm. And we're still in a multiple expansion phase of the market, which defines momentum. So there's no basis. Now,
you think we're still in a bear market?
I think we're basically in a very narrow trading range. I wouldn't call it a bear market.
So you don't think we're in a bear market anymore?
No, I think we're in a very narrow trading range in the market. We're going to go up, we're going to go down. Is the risk more to the downside than the upside? Yes, because how long can multiple expansion go up? But to me, I define bear markets as going down 20%. We're not going to go down 20% from here necessarily because there's too much money that wants to come in.
So even you, who is more negative than most, don't think we're going back to put new lows in?
I don't think we'll put new lows in, but I still think that towards the second half of this year is going to be extremely challenging. And all the people that have been walking around the streets or riding their tractors saying, I'm right, despite the market still being crushed, are going to be disappointed. So I look for idiosyncratic stories where I believe that the valuation is reasonable. I expect that the earnings in those, like a deer, can still go lower, but I'm comfortable that they'll recover. I think we've seen that. So it's all about positioning in idiosyncratic risk. I'm not playing the market.
Okay.
I'm playing specific stocks.
All right, so let's talk about positioning a little bit. Jenny, so Wells Fargo says the bear market is over. Mike Wilson today says not only is it not over, but the bear market rally soon will be. Okay, here's what Mike Wilson says. Price action is not reflective of the deteriorating fundamentals or the fact that the Fed is hiking during an earnings season, drivers that should ultimately determine the lows for this bear market later this spring. Bottom line, we don't advise waiting for the obvious signal the bear market rally is over. We recommend positioning now for the end of the bear market rally, is basically what he's saying, in anticipation of the moment of truth before it's obvious and too late. What do you think?
Well, I think they're both right. And I know that's a pretty lame answer, but it's interesting listening to both.
It's a very Weissian answer.
I'd say it's between all of us. But it's interesting because you listen to Joe, and Joe says the road for inflation's bumpy. Of course it is. The road for the market's bumpy. Everything's bumpy. Weiss says that you need to cherry pick, that people are cherry picking.
From what I said?
Yeah,
she's writing
I
down.
always do.
Wow.
So you need to be careful because when you take pot shots, no, I'm not giving you that.